The Christmas holiday was the best vacation I ever experienced, although it was the first ever vacation I spent without my ex-best friend. But I still enjoyed myself because I had lots of cash to spend and classic clothes to wear to notable places, thanks to Dumebi. Although Dumebi spent her holiday overseas, no day passed by without we calling and checking up on each other. Soon, the holiday was over and school resumed for the new term. Our former principal has been replaced with a newer, stricter woman. As the day goes by, Dumebi and I became more closer. Although I've not accepted her proposal, yet she has been nothing but sweet to me. She had gifted me lots of classic clothes, money to flex with during the holiday, and also a brand new phone. Dumebi did her best to make my stay in Emerald Heights Academy a bliss. I felt like a queen indeed. In a small space, Dumebi officially became my school mother. I didn't lack anything, and I became respected all among the students because Dumebi was the most famous girl in school, and I happened to be her school daughter. Even in the dining hall, we were given presidential table. Abigail and I drifted apart gradually. We still talk once in a while, but we stayed on our lanes. And I don't care about her. After all, she is a poor broke daughter of a widow with funny body odor. And I'm way past her level now. Every night, Dumebi kept asking me to sleep on her bed with an excuse that she was scared. She would then embrace me from behind and we would sleep in that position till morning. Sometimes at night, I could still hear silent noises coming from the other two roommates behind our bed. Whenever I tried to look back and see what was going on, Dumebi with her arms around my body would assure me not to worry about them. She would say that they are having a nice time and I should go back to sleep. I was curious to know what was going on. From the sound they made, they seemed to be having a nice time, truly. And I wanted to know what they were doing and probably have a nice time with them too. After all, I am now their friends. We eat at the same table and do almost everything together. So, I was really naive of sexual activities, and out of curiosity, I asked Dumebi what was going on between those two girls. She smiled. We were standing by my locker one afternoon when the conversation ensued. Before I knew it, she kissed me on the lips and smiled again. Her lips were so soft and moist, and I loved it. She asked if I was still a virgin. My eyes grew in shock. I was only 16 years old. I'm morally brought up well by my over-religious parents. I told her I had never been with a man, and she felt relieved. Again, she told me she can make me feel good without any consequences. I wanted to know what she was talking about. She smiled and led me by my hand into the room. We met the two other roommates inside the room. Just in, Dumebi told me to sit on her bed. Then she whispered into the two girls' ears. They laughed and got up, while Dumebi came to sit beside me and held my hand. And we watched the two other girls take off their clothes and immediately got intimate with each other. I felt irritated and disgusted at first, but Dumebi softened a grip on my hand and caressed my hand to calm down. My nerves calmed and I started enjoying the show. One of the girls took out a candle from the drawer and used it on her partner. They seemed to be having a nice time, and I watched with new interest as if to try out something new. Then, one of the girls brought out a lighter from her bag and light the thread on the candle that was inside the other girl. They were smiling and enjoying themselves. until the fire caught the bed they were lying on. They both started panicking, and in an attempt to put out the fire and take out the candle, half part of the candle broke into the girl's private area. They both started panicking the more. The one whose private area had the candle started crying and jumping around as she tried to shake out the candle, but our effort was in vain. I watched as the two girls went from having a nice time to freaking out. Their screams must have gotten to the ears of the students and staffs because footsteps were being heard running towards our room. Dumebi immediately whispered to me to quickly run to my bed and act like I was asleep, and she quickly lay on her bed pretending to be asleep too. The door was kicked open just as I landed on my bed. I quickly shut my eyes. The housekeeper and the principal barged in and saw the two girls trembling and scared. The house mistress shouted at them to know what had happened, and they told the principal that a candle is stuck in the private area of one of them. The principal didn't need to be told what they were doing. The principal and the house mistress looked at our direction and saw both Dumebi and I in our pretend sleep. In a very harsh tone, she ushered the two girls out of the room in anger. The emergency bell was rung, and the both girls that were caught in the act of lesbianism were paraded in front of our eyes. Although Dumebi and I were present in the room while the girls were having sex, but we acted ignorant. The principal exposed the deeds of the two girls, after which they were expelled and escorted by two policemen who had been waiting impatiently for the very unnecessary assembly to be over. The principal also warned us that the fate of these two girls who were expelled and arrested will also be any of us caught in the act. My legs trembled as I stood and watched the principal foaming in rage as she addressed us. Although I did not practice the act, but I have been a spectator who has been vividly enjoying the show as well as enjoying the caress of Dumebi's hands on my hand. From where I stood, I could feel Abigail boiling and looking into my face. I was very sure she had lots of questions to ask me since the two girls whom were being caught were my friends and roommates. But I was not bothered by Abigail because I did not really see her as my friend anymore, so I don't owe her any explanation. I quickly walked towards my room. Immediately, the principal dismissed us. Dumebi smiled and hugged me immediately we entered the room. She assured me not to be worried as no harm will come near me. I should just accept her proposal and will be fine. After a few weeks, I finally accepted her proposal. Then one day, I was sitting on the toilet seat when two girls walked into the washroom and started gossiping. I recognized the first speaker's voice as Abigail, and the second girl was Abigail's new best friend, Celine. I had seen both of them together since resumption, and although I felt a pang of jealousy, but I did not allow it to bother me because they were both losers. The two losers started gossiping about Dumebi and I. I strained my ears from where I was standing to hear what they were saying. Do you know that our former principal is a lesbian and Dumebi was her puppet? I heard Celine telling Abigail. Oh my God! Abigail gasped. How did you know? Abigail asked her. I caught them together in her office last year, Celine replied Abigail. And now that your best friend Mesoma and Dumebi are close, are you sure they are not lesbian partners? Celine asked. My name is Mesoma, of course. How dare this bitch call my name? I thought to myself. Immediately, I flushed the toilet and stormed out of the toilet, walked up to Celine and gave her a dirty slap on her face. She fell on the floor and I glared at Abigail, who was too stunned to speak. I warned her never to speak ill of Dumebi anymore. As I was about to walk away, Abigail grabbed my left arm, forcing me to stare eyeball to eyeball with her. Her eyes were sparkling with tears building up. Staring into her eyes, I could read many warnings and plead for me to retrace my steps. Her eyes spoke many words, but the only word she was able to utter from her lips was, "Please." Abigail has never been in love, so she wouldn't understand how my heart felt. Although I had accepted Dumebi's proposal, we hadn't done anything rather than sharing kisses once in a while. The highest we have done was deep kiss, and I loved every moment of it. But I wanted more. My body was hungry for more, and I wanted to satisfy this weird and interesting sweet hunger. I let Dumebi know about how I felt, and she promised that we are going to explore each other's body that night. We were behind a huge tree at the back of our classroom when the romantic conversation and sexual promises ensued. But unknowing to us, Sterling had been eavesdropping on our conversation and heard everything. That night, Dumebi fulfilled her promise to me. She explored every corner of my body so gently that I thought I would faint out of pure pleasure. We were both naked and she was lying on top of me with a toy that I've never seen before and I don't know where she got from in her hand. And that was the position we were caught by our new principal, our house mistress, and of course, the unforgiving Sterling. They had opened the door quietly when we had been engrossed in our passionate lovemaking. They had stood there and watched for a while, so Dumebi and I could not deny, because we were caught in the act red-handed. The school mistress wasn't looking too happy, and Dumebi quickly rushed to meet her and held her hand while whispering gently to her ears. And that was the last time I ever saw Dumebi. The next day, the new principal addressed on the danger of disobedience and how another student has been caught yet again practicing lesbianism. The emergency bell has been rung for myself and Dumebi, but I could not find Dumebi anywhere. I heard the principal inform the assembly guests of Emerald Heights Academy that one of the girls escaped, but the other girl will face a punishment of expulsion and arrest squarely. That was my clue to stand up as I was invited to the podium to be paraded in front of the students. This was my first time standing in front of them. I just wished the ground would open and swallow me. I scanned through the crowd to see if I would see Dumebi, but she was nowhere to be found. My eyes and Abigail's eyes met, and I could see her weeping. Standing beside her was the evil Sterling, who was laughing at my predicament. I kept on hearing loud sobbing from a distance, and I looked towards the direction, only to see my mother sobbing uncontrollably, and my father trying to control her while having a hard time controlling his own emotions. That was the last thing I remembered before I fainted. The next time I woke up, I find myself behind bars, solely facing the repercussion of an offense that was committed by two people. It has been 10 years since the incident, and here I am writing this letter from the corner of my room in the prison, quietly facing my 14 years imprisonment for lesbianism. I am 26 years old girl now, and I've gotten used to being behind these bars. Abigail never for once stopped coming to visit me. She had graduated from Emerald Heights Academy, graduated from the university, done her youth service, and was now working in a government hospital with mouth-watering salary. She had also gotten married and is expecting her first child in few months' time. Yet she never for once deserted me. She had helped take care of my parents during my absence. From her, I learned that Celine was the one that reported us to her mother, who was the new principal as at then. I also learned that Dumebi's mother was the owner of Emerald Heights Academy and had aided her daughter to escape to America, where she could continue with her studies and her sexual preference in a country where lesbianism is legally accepted. That first night with Dumebi, We had not really gotten deep into the act. We were only caught naked, lying on top of each other and kissing. So I can boldly say I am still a virgin. Yet I was the scapegoat, and Dumebi, who was a core expert in lesbianism, enticed other students and even had sex with the former principal, and some teachers went free. My name is Mesoma Edward, and I'm writing this letter so that everyone can read and know what actually transpired that night. I should be out of here in 4 years' time, and I'm counting down the years, months, and days left to be spent in here. And I hope others will learn from my mistakes. Thank you for watching Besties. Please support your homegirl Coco by subscribing to my channel, liking and sharing with your loved ones. Bye for now till I come your way again with another mind-blowing and interesting stories. Bye-bye.